revise the previous session because it will be very important. And that's why I had mentioned it on the group as well. Any doubts in the previous session, guys? Okay. All right then. Let's start with today. First, let me give you just a small example just to check your understanding part of yesterday. So to start with, let's take the simple one. So guys, what was the method as to how to find the number of factors? Anybody?
Yeah, Kesari, first we have to do prime factorization, and whatever power is there, we have to add one and multiply all of them.
Okay,
And divide by 2.
fine. That is for A into B. I'm just asking the number of factors.
Yeah, just don't divide it by 2, we'll get the number of factors.
And if
Okay.
it's a perfect square, then remove one number and then divide by 2. You'll
Okay.
get the in that case you'll get the number of A into B's.
Yes, perfect. All right. And uh, what is a real number, guys?
Something which can be represented on a number line.
That's a real number. Okay. And what is a rational number?
Which can be represented by P by Q form.
And there was something extra.
Q not equal to 0.
Q not equal to 0.
Yes, Q not equal to 0. Perfect. Otherwise, what will happen?
Infinity problem.
Good. Good, you guys remember it. Perfect. All right. Guys, let's take a small example. This is the number. Find the number of factors and the number of ways in which it can be represented in the form of A into B, where A and B are unique. And third question, again A into B, where A and B are non-unique. Yeah. Total 3 minutes or 4 minutes at max, guys. Let's start.
Should we DM?
Yes, please. That's the standard rule for any session. Guys, I would request you to check your answers again. No, Aditya, your answer is not correct. I'm surprised how you guys are making some big errors. Yes, Prerit, first part is correct. Others? I require the answer from everybody. I'm getting answers just from 3-4 guys. And that's why it's specifically mentioned today. Guys, please revise income. It is very important. If you miss out on the numbers, it's a big chapter. It will cause you trouble. No wonder this chapter is being asked for like 20%. Yes, Manideep. First part is correct. 2 more minutes, guys. Yes, Aditya, 9 factors. Yeah, so a lot of you guys have got 9 factors. Okay. All right, guys, let's start discussing now. So, to count on it, what are the factors that you got, guys?
5 squared into 7 squared.
7 square.
Perfect. 5 squared into 7 squared. Now, so the formula that you will use will be this 5 can be used into 3 ways, and this 7 can be used 3 ways. So total number of factors would be 9. This part is clear, everybody?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now A into B. What was the formula for A into B, guys?
Divide by 2.
Exactly, divided by 2. But is 1225 a square?
Yes.
Yes, it is a square of 35.
Yes.
So what you have to do? You have to subtract 1 and then divide by 2.
Yes.
So now you will get 9 minus 1 by 2 is equal to
4.
4. Perfect. And now I want non-unique. That means, is divided by 2 required or not?
No.
No. Why no? First of all, why is this divided by 2 being used by us?
Because
A into B.
Because
Yes,
A into
A
B,
into
so
B.
B into A is also possible. That's why we divide by 2.
Is it?
Matlab, if it is 1 into 6 and 6 into 1 is also possible, but the factors are only 1 and 6. I mean, unique.
Okay, great. Guys, do one thing. You have worked out the formula. Calculate this, the number of factors. Write it down, each one of you. I want the prime factorization of, you already have the prime factorization of 1225. What you guys do is write each one down. That will give you an idea. To start off with the case, I think that exercise is required. Some of you are a bit rusty. It will help. Ashik, you had asked me the The reason why I wasn't sharing the classwork and homework problems for numbers, this is the reason why. I need to build the base first very strongly, and numbers being a big chapter, if I'd given you the problem and if I'd started solving it, there was high chance that a lot of confusion might have crept in. That's why I was purposely holding it back.
Yeah, what I thought was after first session only, I thought you would keep those sums, so that's why.
Yeah, I understand. Everybody done with it?
Yes.
Okay. Now what do we get? 1225 is equal to 1 into 1225. Now you will divide it by 5. What you will get?
240. Sorry. 245. 40.
Perfect. Now with 7,
Yes.
49.
49.
sorry?
49
175.
into
Sorry, I did
7.
not hear you.
Two,
175.
Then you will get something with 25. Then you will get something with 49.
That will be same 25 into 49 and 49 into 25.
Okay. Now, total how many you have got here? 4. This is the 4 that you were to receive here, right? Why haven't we got here one more? 35 into 35. Because we are being asked unique, right? Is this clear, guys? Everybody? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, in the second part of the question, and that's why I asked it this time, the non-unique part. Now, can I write the non-unique way? 1225 into 1. This will be different because these two form two different non-unique pairs. They are not unique to each other. A and B can be non-unique. If I have to consider it in the unique case, basically these both will be the same for me. It doesn't matter. Understood it, guys?
Yes.
So
So
for
it means
every
we have to
case,
double this number, but we
yes,
get in second part.
yeah, we will also have one more part.
Yeah, 35.
A and B can be non-unique.
Oh,
Now just a trick, guys. What I explained in the last 1 minute, did I say it correct or did I say it wrong? Was I correct in telling A to be unique, whatever I showed with the red pen? That's why I specifically changed my ink. Whatever I stated with the red ink, was it correct or did I say something wrong?
It's wrong.
What was wrong?
I don't think so that A into B and B into A are two separate things. Whether you call it unique or non-unique, it's one and the same.
Okay. Anybody else has something? Everybody
Even-
else found me correct or was there something wrong?
I agree with Aditya actually.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
I too agree with Aditya because we are getting the same number on multiplying these two numbers.
Okay. All right. one thing, guys. Just a small thing. What does unique mean? A and B have to be unique. That means A and B cannot be the same, right? And what does non-unique mean? A and B can be same.
Same.
So will the answer here be 5 or will the answer here be 9?
5.
Others?
5 Kesari.
5.
Fine.
So everybody now clear that whatever I had marked with red ink, was it correct or was I incorrect here?
Incorrect.
Others, any doubt why I was incorrect? Anybody, any doubt? Ask me right now.
No.
Okay.
So basically, can we, I mean, with respect to this example, or can we conclude that the number of factors is equal to the number of non-unique values?
Yes.
Or
It
is
depends
matching
on the
only?
number sometimes, if it's a perfect square or not. Like if this wasn't a perfect square, the number would still be the same, 4 and 4 for both of them.
Okay.
So that is an important part you will have to consider. Otherwise, yeah, you can say so.
Kesari, I have one doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you speak of unique pair and non-unique pair, in the sense non-unique is the total number of pairs possible. So that is just excluding the square part of it, and then we get
I had asked here A and B are non-unique. I did not ask A and B is a non-unique pair.
Okay.
Your
So
question
when
is different. So
you're
if it is
saying
asked A
yeah.
and B non-unique pair,
Okay.
then your answer will be 9.
Okay.
Yeah. I had asked here A and B are unique, non-unique. So they both can be same.
But then if A and B both are same, but together as a pair, they form one unique pair, right? There's no other pair which is 35 into 35.
Yes.
Okay, so the total number of pairs, if we consider the non-unique scenario, will be 5, according to
Yes.
this.
Yes. See here. In this number, in this scenario, A was 1 and B was 1, 2, 2, 5.
Yeah.
In this, A is this and B is this, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what you are telling right now, A and B being a non-unique pair, now these both will count as two different pairs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But my question was A and B as numbers have to be non-unique, not as a pair.
Okay.
Yeah. In algebra, you will be facing such questions like x and y. So solution in x and y will be given, and you will be asked find non-unique pairs, not non-unique solutions.
Okay.
I had asked here only A and B among itself have to be non-unique.
Okay. So basically, now let us just assume if A and B were two dice which are thrown at the same time.
Yes.
So the non-unique pair will be 3, 6 and 6, 3. It will be a non-unique pair because the first die it's 3 and then second die is 6, and then the same thing happens in the reverse order.
It will be a unique pair. Don't confuse with this question and the question you are asking. Those will be unique pairs.
Okay.
See, let me 1 second, guys. Yeah. Let me clear your doubt. Unique numbers and unique pairs. Three 6 and 6 3 are two unique pairs.
Yes.
Are they?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
No, they're
Sure.
non-unique.
They are non-unique. They are not
How
unique.
come? Because first dice we are getting a 3 and then second dice we are getting a 6. But at the
I'll tell
same
you
time, yeah.
how cat tricks you in this.
Yeah.
There's some keyword and that you will get into the question. If you have seen previous 3-4 years question, they will not ask you like this, unique or non-unique. They will trick you using this word, ordered pairs. Now
Okay.
3 6 and 6 3 as ordered pairs are different. Okay, because order matters. In ordered
Yes.
pairs, order matters,
Yes.
and that's why they are unique.
Yes.
If I am asking for non-ordered pairs, that means the order does not matter. So you can remove this comma from the bracket because order does not matter. Now in the bracket, are both the numbers same in both the scenario?
Yes.
So if I am asking for non-ordered pairs, the answer is same, and in this scenario they become non-unique. So now you understand how the same option can become unique and non-unique given the scenario.
Okay. So ordered pair is unique, and then unordered
No.
is
In
not.
ordered pairs, numbers can be different and then they are unique.
Okay.
In non-ordered pairs, even if the numbers are different, the order might be different, but order does not matter in non-ordered pairs.
Yes.
Then it becomes non-unique. It's a difficult concept. That's why I hadn't discussed it yet. But it's all right. Hopefully, guys, if you haven't understood, please ask me again. I'll explain it again. This is an important concept, and this concept is only useful in answering the questions. This has nothing to do with solving the questions, guys. When you have a question, you have two components to it. First you solve it, and second is you find the answers. Now this is important in finding the answers, not the solving part. Anybody, any doubt? I know it's not an easy concept to digest at the first go, and that's why I'm asking it again. Anybody doubt? Yeah.
What will happen if we use, I mean, instead of 3 and 6, if both the numbers are 6 and 6, and so in
Both
that,
of them are 6 and 6.
yeah, so in that case,
So even in ordered pairs, they will be same.
yeah, so in both the cases they'll be same. Right?
Yes, both the cases they will be same.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter that it comes under ordered pair or non-ordered pair. They are non-unique. What does unique mean? Unique mean it is one of its kind. Unique means one of its kind. And these are the scenarios. Now in uniqueness, I have two things. Let's say there are two sets of twins. One is a brother and a sister twin, and there's a one twin, just brother. Now if I classify on the basis of twins, are they guys same or different? They will be same because they both are twins, so they will look identical. Now but if I change my criteria on gender, they will not be the same. Now they will become unique because their genders are on genders they will become same and they will become different. So based on gender they will be unique, but here they will still be the same. They will not be unique. So if I change the criteria, they become unique or not unique depending on the criteria.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Anybody? Any doubt in understanding this ordered pairs and unique and non-unique? See, it's okay if you still find it confusing. Don't worry. When you start facing the questions, you will find it easier. Don't worry about that. But yeah, just keep in mind what is a unique, what is a non-unique, and what is an ordered pair, what is an non-ordered or unordered pair. At least this part is clear. What is an ordered pair and what is a non-ordered pair? In ordered pair, order matters. Even if two numbers are same but they are in different order, they both are different solutions. Okay, great then. Okay, now we'll move forward to product of the factors. And let's start with the easiest solution yet again. Now first one would be, let's take the easy example 12. So the factors were 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Now I want the product of all the factors. If all the factors are multiplied, what will be the final answer? Anybody? Can you tell me? What will be the product?
One 728.
Okay. Anybody else getting a different answer?
Same answer.
Okay, same answer. Can I say 1728 is 12 ka cube?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, there's an interesting way to look at this problem. If I multiply this with this, this with this, and this with this, will all of them give me 12?
Yes,
Yes.
obviously.
And how many times I have formed this pair? 3 times. Right?
Yes.
Now, the number of ways in which you can calculate 12 as a part of A and B, how many times can you do that?
3.
4.
How 4?
Just okay. Wait. Sorry. Number of factors are 6. So 6 plus 1 divided by 2.
Why 6 plus 1?
Okay, 6 divided by 2. Yes. So
Yes,
3.
exactly.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, let's take another number, and this time we will take 36. Now, what are the factors of 36?
1, 2, 3,
4,
4, 6.
6, 9,
9,
12,
12, 13.
These are the factors. Now, what will be the product?
$46,656.
You use the calculator.
Ah, yes.
Try using the manual method, which I used right now.
Casey, I have one doubt. It's not regarding the concept. What kind of a calculator can we expect in CAT? I never used it, the last time. I didn't concentrate on it. But then what kind of calculator can we expect from the CAT? We can calculate square roots, cube roots, and everything.
Square root is given most probably, cube root will not be. Now, it will be a scientific calculator, but not an advanced one. Like you won't have the sine, cos, tan, everything. Log, antilog won't be there. The standard calculator that has the square root function available at max.
Okay.
See, the basic part of function of the calculator is two things. One, so that you can approximate how the calculation part is, and the second thing is for you to waste time. Now, what by doing calculators, it depends on how you use it. You can use it as a bane, you can use it as a boon. If you just immerse in it in it, it will be a bane for you, because if you start wasting time, see, sometimes approximations are more than necessary and sufficient. And the perspective through which they have actually given the calculator to people, you see, when you become a manager, what will happen is you will be given a balance sheet of the company, or it will have a lot of statistics and similar data. You will have 5 minutes to go through the document. You will read one page, and then you will try recommending your clients that, okay, so and so changes have to be made. There you won't be using a calculator. Estimates in your mind would be beneficial for you. For that, you will have to know the idea as to which number is bigger by how much, what percent, rough. Like if I say 120 and 70, How much is 120 bigger? So you will say 50 difference upon 70. So yeah, it is clearly almost 70% bigger. That is roughly possible because 7 7 is 49. That's 70%. So you can clearly say 70%. That's how your mind should work. That's why approximations is more than sufficient. If then the options are very too close, yeah, at that moment of time you can use the calculator, but the main mode of calculator is not that. That is
Yeah,
why
okay.
try use avoiding calculator as much as possible. But yeah, you can sometimes use it to ease run through your calculations. That is perfectly fine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, guys. So I want the answer in power of 36.
4.
36 power 4 into 6.
No.
36 power 4 into 6.
I guess it's only
4
36 power
9
4.
Let's see.
4
Let's see.
9.
Let's
Because
see.
that 6 which is left in between is getting multiplied by itself twice. Like 6 into 6,
1,
36 again.
2,
2,
3,
Yeah.
4.
4.
This is left.
Yeah.
So can I say
Yes.
1 is left? What are the total number of ways in which it can be used in A into B? Sorry, what are the total number of factors it had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes.
Is this the answer?
Yes.
Yeah. Why is it so? Why did not we get something similar here and something different here?
Perfect squared.
Perfect.
Exactly. It's a perfect square. 6 will have to pair with itself. And that is why when we tried doing the A into B method, in how many ways can it be required? In a unique way where A and B are unique to each other, what did we find? Four methods, 4 number of ways it can be represented, right? Because there again, we had one case where A into B was 6 into 6. But when we have to find the total multiplication of all the factors, that's not the case because you do not need to find a pair for 6. 6 will leave alone. So when these are the two cases when you find a normal number and when you find a square, perfect square. So when you have perfect square, generally the number of ways in which A into B it can be method, you can mention that into the square root. Square root will always be left. So you can take this as your general formula that you can follow, and that would be the number into the number of ways it can be represented uniquely into A into B, and if it is a perfect square then mention the square root. If not, it is not required. Everybody clear with this part?
Yes.
Yes, Casey.
Anybody any doubt? I'm giving you 30 seconds. Go through what is written on the screen and ask me right now.
So Casey, again here, 36 power 4 into 6, are we trying to get unique pairs of A into B?
No, there's nothing uniqueness in this part.
So why can't we form one more pair as 6 into 6 and then make it 36 power 5?
I am asked, how many 6 does 36 consist of? Just one, right?
Yeah.
Apart from this 6, is there any another number that is also called 6
No.
in its prime factorization?
No.
No. That's why you have to consider only one 6. See, there the case was different. There we were representing it in the form of numbers. Here we are multiplying all the numbers.
Now
And
for
in listing down all the factors, we have just one 6. And what the question is, I want the multiplication of all the factors. So how will you get another 6?
Got clear.
The number line has just one 6. That's it. Yeah, go ahead, Aspik.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask now, since we know 36 or these small numbers, we know that that is a perfect square.
Yeah.
Now, for example, there is a number which is given, which is a huge number, and we don't know what is the perfect square of that. Let's assume. I know we can find out using the number of factors that, yeah, this can be since it is the perfect square, we're getting the factors to be 9 or something like that.
Yes.
But my doubt is in exam,
How will you come to know?
yes.
Yeah. See, in exam A into B, the number of factors of a perfect square, okay, are always odd, and the number of factors of a non-perfect square are generally always even.
Okay.
This is how you will differentiate.
In
If you
case you
find
for
that,
this, yeah, for this method to work out, is it necessary that we write all the factors in ascending order?
no, it's not necessary. I just wrote it in the ascending order so as to make the visual representation in your mind easier.
Okay.
It's not necessary. You can write them in any order. What I wanted to show is that 12 multiplied by 1, 6 by 2, 3 by 4, so that everybody, both all of them, form a pair of 12. That's why.
Yeah, because
You can write
eventually we
them
have
in
to
any order.
just calculate the number of pairs.
Yeah, yes. Okay, anybody any doubt? All right. Now we'll move towards the new concept, and that would be sum of the factors. So guys, once again, let 36 be the number given to you. Find the sum of factors of this and the smaller number. Find the sum of all the factors. And DM me the answers. I'm giving you 4 minutes. Or 3. 4 would be too much. 3 minutes. Yeah, it's good. At least I'm seeing good responses. Yeah, guys, others. I'm just having 4 responses till now. Was it such a tough question? Just 4 responses. No, Manideep, your answer is not correct. Aditya, Anshula, Aswik, your answers are correct. Yes, Pandana, right? Others, guys? Prerit, Priya, Sohail, Spandana. Yes, Spandana has given the answer. Trilok. All right, guys. Let's start it with it then. So, for the sum of the factors part, what did you guys do? How was your approach?
I followed the regular approach 1 plus 2 plus 3 like that. That's it.
Okay. So, did you
I'm
not
just
exploit?
no, that's what I'm trying to find out a pattern if it is following some pattern or not.
Of course, it is following a pattern, and that's what I'm here to discuss. Otherwise, why will I give you such a question? Okay. So, what is the prime factorization of 36, guys? We just now saw.
1 into 2 into 3 into 4. Okay, wait, that's one. Okay, wait.
2 square into 3 square.
Yeah. So this is the prime factorization. So what all be the factors then, which we can get only from 2? 1,
1.
2, and 4.
Yes.
And what will be the factors that we will get from 3? Only 3.
1, 3, 9.
And now we'll get factors from combination of these two. And those would be
1, 6.
1,
1,
6, 36.
36.
we'll get 6, we'll get 36,
6.
we'll get 12,
12,
we'll get 18.
18.
So is there a pattern? 6, 12, 18, then 36. Same 1, 3, 9, 1, 2, 4. Now, guys, does everybody know what is a geometric progression?
Yes.
Anybody who does not know what is a geometric progression? I won't go into detail. I'll just tell you how it can be used. Okay, I suppose everybody knows geometric progression. That's great. So let us say for me, if I take any number n, here in this case it was 36, and that turns out to be a raised to p, and then I'm giving a general formula. As you were saying now, how to generalize it. This is a general formula. B into q and like c into r and so on. So what will happen is there will be some factors of a because of this, some factors of b, some factors of c, and so on. Like we saw here, this will be the factor line of 2, this will be the factor line of 3. Among these, some are also consisting of factor lines of 2, some of 3. So while when you add them on a line, you can take something common and then multiply them. And then I'm purposely not going into its derivation, guys, because it will be time consuming, but don't worry, you will understand this part. And you will find that you have seen such a formula somewhere. Have you seen some of GP ka formula, something similar to like this?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the GP that results because of the factors of A. This is the GP that results in the factors because of B, and this is the GP that results in the factors because of C. Now, what you have done is you have already calculated for 36, right? Now, what you do is try using this formula and see if you get the same answer. Look and see if you get the same answer or not.
Same answer.
Others, I'm waiting. Try it for 12 also.
Yes, 91.
Yeah, try it for 12 as well.
Same answer.
Okay, great. Everybody got this part? Any doubt?
Same.
Okay. All right, then we'll move to the next concept, and that would be the coprimes. How many ways can you get coprimes of a given number? So let's say, guys, you remember the concept of coprimes? Anybody care to explain what was a coprime?
A pair of numbers which are prime to each other.
Example?
3, 5.
Any two numbers whose highest common factor is 1.
15,
Okay.
14.
Okay. All right. Now we have discovered, given a number n and its prime factors a, b, c, d, and so on, just the prime factors. Can I, and we have also seen n as the multiple of two numbers, how many methods we can do, how many factors are there, what's the product, what's the sum of all the factors. We have covered 4 important parts. Now I want, and this will apply a combination of some of these, is in how many ways can I get n as a number a into b, where a and b are co-prime to each other, and use this for 12 and tell me the answer. 12 is a number which you can manually operate. That's why I'm giving you a smaller number. 2 minutes, try it. In how many ways can you represent 12 as a into b, where a and b are co-prime to each other?
Three ways.
Okay, I'm waiting. I have one answer, that is 3 ways. Others? I'm waiting for your answers.
I think it's only one way.
Only one way. Okay.
2 ways.
2 ways. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. Anybody with 4?
Provided one if it has to be unique.
Okay.
One.
2 ways.
2 ways. Okay.
Oh, one way case.
One
Okay.
way.
Okay. Everybody is becoming a traffic officer now. 1 way. All right then. And what is that 1 way, guys? The ones who are telling 1.
3 and 4.
Yeah. 3 into 4.
Okay. And what was the prime factorization of 12? 2 square into 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, guys, once again, what was the definition of a coprime?
The two numbers should be prime to each other.
Perfect. Are 1 and 12 prime to each other? I'm not asking 1 is prime or 12 is prime. Are 1 and 12 prime to each other?
No.
No.
No. No.
Why not?
Because 1 into 12 is 12.
What is the definition of coprime? Once again,
Yes.
what was the
Highest-
definition of coprime?
Highest common
Their
factor is
HCF is 1.
yes.
They have only just one common factor, that is 1. Can I say for this case, are they coprime?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody?
Hmm.
Yes.
So, will I have 2 cases or just one case?
Okay.
2 cases.
Perfect. We'll have 2 cases. Now, let's do the similar exercise for another number. Let's take here 16. Now calculate it, guys. Same exercise. How many ways? A into B, where A into B both are coprime.
1.
Okay. We have one answer, that is 1. Anybody else?
One case.
All right. One
Yes,
more.
it's 1.
Okay. And what is that one way?
1 into 16.
Okay. Perfect. For 20, guys, if the number is 20,
2 ways.
okay. 2. Anybody else?
Yes, 2s.
Okay. Others?
2 ways.
All right. Okay, yeah, 2 is the right answer, and here 1 was the right answer. Perfect. Now, I'll tell you the pattern here, which was my main motto. So, if I have any number n, and that is in the form of a raised to p, b raised to q, c raised to r, or so on, the number of ways in which it can be represented into a into b coprime is 2 raised to n minus 1, where n is the number of prime factors, just prime, just this one. I don't want PQR. How many A's, how many B's, and how many C's we have. So we here, if n is the number here, let's check 12. What was 12? 2 square into 3. So how many prime numbers we have in the factors? 2 and 3. That's it. So my n will be 2. Here it was 2 raised to 4. 16 is 2 raised to 4. What is the value of n here? 1. What is 20? 20 is 2 square into 5. What is the value of n here, guys? Guys, what is the value of n here?
2.
2.
2.
Everybody got it clear how we got 2?
Yeah.
Kesri, I observe one pattern.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's correct or not, but then perfect squares will have only one such way. Maybe that there'll be a coprime pair, and non-perfect
True.
squares might have two.
True. True. Yes, you are telling it right. And this covers it.
Okay. Fine.
See, perfect squares will have just 1. So n will take the value of 1. 1 minus 1 will be 0. 2 raised to 0 is 1. So it will give just one way.
Yes.
What you're telling is quite correct, in fact. So guys, got this part clear?
Kesari, what is n? Can you repeat?
N is the number of prime factors. Or in this case, the number A, B, C, how many we get? Everybody clear? Anybody who wants me to repeat again, I will repeat again. Okay, I'll move forward then. Now we come to our next concept, and that is number of co-primes to n which are less than n. For example, let's take a moderate number 48. Now I want to know how many numbers are smaller than 48 and are co-prime to 48. Do you understand it, guys? How many numbers are smaller than 48 and co-prime? Or let's just take a smaller, even a smaller number before. 12 will give a large one. So I want this. Yeah, guys, find out how many numbers are smaller than 12 and are also co-prime to 12. Find this out.
Four into three K3. That's it. Because two cases are possible. 1 into 12 and 4 into 3. So
I'm not
four.
asking A into B and all.
Okay.
I'm asking how many co-primes. Like if I consider 5, is 5 co-prime to 12
Yes.
and it is less than 12?
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
this is 1. Now 7. 7 is co-prime to 12, yes. Is it less than 12? Yes. So this will be second answer.
So all
How
the
many numbers?
non-factors.
That's up to you to decide.
Okay. Okay.
I will discuss the strategy after you guys get the answer.
Yeah. Sure. Fine.
Yeah.
1, 5, 7, and 11.
So the total answer is, final number is
4.
4.
4. Okay. So I've got one answer from 2 guys, that is 4. And what did you guys basically do? You cancelled
Simply,
out all the factors? All
yes.
the factors. Okay. Perfect. So let us now take 24. You got 12, now take 24. And please tell me how many.
Eight.
Okay, great. I'm getting some good quick responses today. Good to see enthusiasm. Others, guys?
Yes, it's 8.
All right. Others? Just 2 answers. Take 1 more minute if you need, but I want the answers from everyone. Others?
8 case.
Fine then, let's move on. So 8. So guys, what is the strategy that you guys used? After writing down the numbers, you wrote all the numbers and cancelled out its factors. Is that the thing?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do almost the same thing, but we'll use a shortcut. And that would be, if I have 12, like I had used in the first case, if I remove all the multiples of 12, sorry, all the multiples of 2, basically the number will get halved, the number of factors, because 2 occurs, the number of the factors of 2 occur at every next multiple, like in the number line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after one next number, you will have a multiple of 2, and this will get cancelled, right?
Yes.
So if I using this operation, I will cancel out all of them.
Yes.
Okay. Now using this operation, will I cancel out all the multiples that were of 3 as well?
Yes.
Okay. So 3 will get cancelled. Is there any other prime number left to be cancelled? This will be cancelled by 2. This will be cancelled by 3. Is there any other prime factor of 12?
Should
No.
we consider 12 into the list because it's less than 12, right?
Fine, doesn't matter. I have taken it for explanation.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, on a rough basis, this is the procedure that you guys might have followed.
Yes.
And using this part, this is the formula that we have derived. So whenever we are given any number and you have to find the co-primes that are less than n and a co-prime to it, what you do is this will give you the answer, and so on. How many prime factors are there? 1 minus 1 by a. Here a was 2. So out of one part of 12, you removed the half part. Out of one part of 12, you removed the half part that belonged to 2. Also among the one part, you removed the 1/3 part that belonged to 3, and so on. When you remove everything that is because of these prime factors, what will be remaining will have no prime factor of 12, and as a result, they will become co-prime. Understood the formula, guys?
Yes, Cassie.
Yes.
Everybody, any doubt? Okay, great. Then let's move forward. Now we have is the sum of them. Once again, what let's do is, now I had the original number 48. Let's use this formula on 48 and tell me the answer. And I want you guys to use the formula, not the standard approach. Now what do you get as the answer? Do not take more than a
16.
minute, guys. Yeah,
16.
yes, 16. Perfect. Others? Perfect.
So these 16 will be less than 48.
Yes, this 16 will be less than 48.
Okay.
Okay. Now moving to the next concept, that is, now you found out all the co-primes. That this part is clear. Now what I want is, I want the sum of all these co-primes. Like when I had given you 12, what were the numbers that you found out?
5, 7, 11, 1.
You had 1, you had
5,
5.
7, 11.
If you add them, what do you get?
24.
Is there a relation between 12 and 24?
Double.
Yeah.
So there is some relation. So you could say that is 12 into 2. And this 2 is basically half of 4. Let's see if we get a pattern once again. You had done it for 20, right?
24.
Sorry, 24. My bad. How many numbers did you get?
8.
8 numbers. Can you write down all the numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continuation to the above one.
Okay.
13, 17, 19, 23.
23 plus 1 is 24. 5 plus 19 is 24. 7 plus 17 is 24. 11 plus 13 is 24. Are you guys observing it?
Yes.
How many times did we do it?
4 times.
So will the answer be 24 into 4?
96.
And yet again, this 4 is exact half of it.
Okay.
Are you guys noting down the pattern?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So then here is the answer. So when you want the sum, what you will do is basically n into what this is actually called as phi. N into phi of n by 2. This was our phi of n. We are dividing it by 2. First you write down this formula, now then I will explain it also. We have just derived it. We haven't explained it yet. All right, now I'll explain it as well. Now let's take the number line. Let's take, this is 1, this is 12. Now when you were cutting down the numbers, you might have observed after all the prime factor part is done, those numbers, if you take the half in between, they cut down equal numbers from here as well as here, same numbers. It's not that if the answer is 8, you will get 3 from here, you will get 5 from here. No, that won't be the case. You will get 4 numbers from here and 4 numbers from here. That's why every number is equidistant from the center, and addition of these two always has the average of the middle number. In this case, this is the middle number. N by 2 is the middle number. And how many times are you having it? The number of times you have the number. What was our definition of average when we studied averages? When we distribute a certain number to everybody so that everybody will be equal on that basis, that is the average, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is our average, and this will give the total number of numbers. So we'll obtain the sum.
Mm.
Is this part clear, guys? Everybody, please type in the chat box if it is clear.
Can you explain again, Casey?
Okay, sure. Which part? This number line?
No, I'm not exactly understanding what is phi of n.
This is just a notation. This is phi of n.
Okay.
We have given this as the notation phi of n. You can take it as f of n.
Okay.
So I've just placed it here, phi of n into n by 2.
Yeah.
You understood this pattern, right? 12 into 2, 24 into 4. How did we get this?
Yeah, Casey.
Yeah, I'm just putting it in the formula part.
You see, I had one doubt.
Yeah.
Since we are discussing this only, just one topic before, we said that for 12, we had a number where we got 2, and for 24, we got 8. I guess. No, for 24,
Yes,
we got
yes.
6, 8 or
No,
16.
24 we got 8.
Yeah. So I tried to do it with 25 also. For example, for 25, we'll get 5 squared. So the answer will be 20 if I use the formula n into 1 minus 1 by a.
Hmm.
Okay. So then for 625, can it be 100? Can I just multiply whatever output I get with the same number that I have to multiply with 25? Because the same trend is seen in 12, 24 and 48 also.
Try using the formula on 625. 625 ka prime factorization, what will it be? 5 raised to 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are just getting one prime factor.
Okay.
So that would be 625 into 1 minus 1 by 5. That would be 625 into 4 by 5.
Yes, yes.
That will be phi of n.
Yes,
And
yes.
then you have to multiply this by 625 by 2.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not
You will
talking
get the
about the
same
sum.
pattern. You will get the same pattern.
Yeah.
You are asking the pattern, right?
Yeah, I'm not talking about the sum. I'm just talking about phi of n.
Yeah, you will get the same thing. No, the phi of n won't be same. Why? Because
Will-
this number is different, right?
No, what I am saying is, Kesri, if we get phi of n value for 25 as 20,
Okay.
then 25 into 5 is 625. So the
Yes.
phi of n value for 625 will be again 20 into 5, whatever we got for 25. The trend is observed in the same way. It is 100.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah. So I was just trying to figure
Okay.
that out. Yeah.
Okay.
Because just in case in an exam, if we get a very big number like 1024 whole power 4, at that point of time, we'll try to reduce it as less as possible in terms of 12 or something, and then we can calculate fast.
Yes, you can do that. But ensure that you won't do calculation mistakes in doing a shortcut.
Yes, case.
It happens, yeah. If you can make that part good, yeah, it's well good to go.
Okay.
All right, guys. So with this part, this section is over. So basically your numbers 1 is kind of over. I'll just take today 10 minutes more and introduce you to the joining link between numbers 1 and numbers 2. Numbers 1 was bigger, numbers 2 and numbers 3 are quite small, very small. Numbers 3 is in fact very small. You will barely take more than 40 minutes. Now, the important part, and that is you guys have learnt it. That is HCF and LCM. Now, what is the HCF? Highest common factor, least common multiple, I know that. But how do we do it in terms of numbers? Like if A and B, I'll tell you, this is just for hearing part, you won't have to derive here anything. If there are two numbers A and B, sorry, let's take different notations to make you comfortable for what we are observing above. If you have two numbers P and Q and the HCF is H, the LCM is L. P and Q can also be represented in the form of H times some number A and H times some number B. And there's a formula. P into Q is HCF into LCM. And key important factor to note down. You will get a lot of questions on this pattern. Anybody who did not understand the formula? Let's take an example. 12 and 24. Now, what is the HCF of 12 and 24? Highest common factor, guys?
6.
12. 12. Why 6?
HCF?
It should be 12.
Oh, okay. In case of calendar, sorry.
Yeah. So what will be your one, your H here? A, it will be 1 and your B will be 2. Right? Because 12 into 1 will be a 12 and 12 into 2 will be a 24. Everybody clear with this part?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And what will be your LCM, guys? What is the LCM of 12 and 24?
24.
Yes, it is 24. Now, check whether this formula is right or not. Put it in the formula and try calculating whether is it right or wrong.
Right.
Right for everybody?
Yes, Keshav.
Anybody, any doubt? I mean, there's not much more to understand part, but just testing the formula. Everybody clear with this?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. We'll then move towards the next topic, and that would be considering fractions. Now, how do we calculate HCF and LCM of fractions? And there's not much in it. Yet again, a small simple formula. That would be whenever you want HCF of fractions, what you do is you take HCF of numerators and LCM of denominators. You have done this in your 9th, 10th classes. It's just that I'm giving you the formula. Basically, you have been doing it all your senior school. And then you will have the opposite, HCF of denominators. Please note this down as well, guys. It's an important part and it will help you in some of the questions. Is this part clear, guys? Everybody? Anybody, any doubt? Anybody, any doubt, guys?
No, Keshav, clear.
Okay. All right, then we have the next part and it will take time. So we'll discuss most probably this in the next lecture. And there are 3 LCM models, 3 ways of finding LCM. There's model 1, there's model 2, there's model 3. And using that part, I'll just tell you what's next to come in numbers so that you get an idea of it. Using this, we'll find remainders, because when you have HCF and LCM in your hand, you can divide the numbers. When you can divide the numbers, you will be able to find remainders. When you can find the remainders, then you will have questions on combinations of this. And this is what we'll be discussing in the next lecture, which will probably be the end of numbers 2. And since I wasn't present yesterday, so I am thinking of taking a makeup lecture for tomorrow. I hope you guys would be free for tomorrow. Anybody has any issue for tomorrow? No problem from my side. Okay.
No issues, Keshav.
All
I'm
right then.
available too.
Sure, sure. Great. Then what we'll do is we'll have the next lecture tomorrow for numbers 2. And once you do numbers 1 and numbers 2, I will simultaneously provide you the worksheet as well. But first thing, important thing to do is, guys, revise the concepts. A lot of concepts have been done and they are closely interlinked to each other. Trust me, if the formulas and concepts are clear, guys, you can breeze through the questions. Number is not that tough. If at all the concepts are not clear, it will stick like anything in your mind and it will just trouble you in the question itself, in the exam paper itself. Even after taking 4-5 minutes, there might be a case that you were not able to solve the question. So that's the reason I'm holding back on the questions, because ideally if you had 30% of the questions as doubt in your normal worksheet, trust me, if I had just given you the worksheet now itself, the number for numbers would be close to 50%. Hence, I want you guys first to revise the lectures of numbers 1 and numbers 2 till now, whatever we have had, at least 2-3 times. Revise it, solve the questions again. Then when you can, you will be given the worksheets, you will breeze through it. Don't worry about that part. So it's not that you won't be given the worksheets of numbers, and that's why, and this is just the only topic that's which I will be purposely holding it back, the worksheets. Otherwise, all the worksheets that you will have, you will be given even before the lectures itself. And that's why I did not take up a class worksheet for this, because I want the concepts first clear. Generally, what we happened in the other classes, we solved the question and simultaneously discussed the concepts, because that chapters were comparatively easier. Numbers does not work that way. So I hope that answers some of your doubts regarding what is the strategy we are adopting just for numbers part. I hope there's no confusion as to how we are proceeding with numbers part, and if anybody has a problem with that part, you can go ahead with me. You can ask me, or you can tell me, you can tell your suggestions. Anybody? Okay, then I suppose nobody has a problem. Then we'll take off for the day, and this will be all we will discuss today. And please, a reminder again, guys, do revise all the parts before moving forward for tomorrow. And yeah, do not miss tomorrow's lecture, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Keshav.
Yeah.
Thank you, Keshav.